Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Centurion 1307 back at ya. This last Sunday, I had the distinct pleasure of hanging out with my fellow brethren on the TXR Podcast, and we were able to interview David Prien, Senior Hardware Developer at Xbox. The entire interview mostly revolved around the Elite 2 controller, but we were able to slip in a few questions about Project Scarlett, and we received a little bit of a cryptic answer towards the direction that it's going. During today's video, I am going to have two images playing on the screen, one at 60 frames a second and one at 30 frames a second. This will give us a slight glimpse of what we're expecting out of the next-gen console. For a little bit of fun, I will let you guess which one is at 60 frames a second before I reveal it. So let's have some fun, smack that like and subscribe button, let's do this. Thanks once again for tuning in, my friends. Here on the screen right now is an image at 60 frames a second compared to an image at 30 frames a second. Yes, I am using Destiny 2 to create this example. One was played on my PC, the other was played on my Xbox One X. But to keep the test as equal as possible, I used the same mission with the same controller using the same legendary weapon. The only real difference is obviously one is a Titan character and the other is a Hunter. In the game, there is a speed difference between these two characters when at a full sprint, but as you see right here, this is just them jogging. When it comes to telling the difference between frames per second, you will notice one image looks like it's running smoother than the other. Not to mention the added clarity and sharpness to the image. But it's going to get even better as soon as we get into combat. So my question is right now, can you tell the difference? Because get ready for the reveal. The image on the left is running at 60 frames a second on my PC, which is the exact equivalent to an Xbox One X, which is on the right. But I am not hampered by the limitations of the Xbox One X, so therefore my PC can run it at 60 frames a second. Now, the whole reason why we're doing this on screen is so people can see what next gen is going to offer. But there's a lot of stuff going around about power, which I totally understand. You need power to create 60 frames a second and 4K resolution. In the interview with David Prien, he even stated that power really looks good on the side of a box, so therefore you always want to aim to have power. But he also stated what you do with that power is what really matters. In my opinion, the impression that I got from him in the interview was that the PS5 and the Xbox Scarlett are going to be very close in power. He used a very good comparison in showing how power over performance matters. He told us to use cars as an example. Look at a muscle car, extreme raw power that will rip the road right up. Take that powerful muscle car and put it on a track right next to a high-performance sports car and you have a problem. The sports car has been tuned to use the power that it has as optimized as possible and will be able to outmaneuver the muscle car on the track. He told us a story about how one of his team members just recently bought an M5 and said he would race anybody in the parking lot. David accepted his offer and showed up with a motorcycle, which the individual claimed that was unfair. This is the example that David was wanting to show his team member in how numbers didn't really matter, even though he had a sports car that had way more horsepower than the motorcycle. His motorcycle could turn faster and get from 0 to 60 quicker. He used these examples and stories to show us the direction that Project Scarlett is going. He said that power is extremely important, but the human eye can only process so much information. On top of that, the 8K market is so small right now due to the cost of getting into it. Project Scarlett has enough power under the hood to hit 8K in certain situations. situations. But instead, he's wanting to concentrate more on what they do with that power and how they can optimize it to turn this thing into a high-performance sports car. This could give us situations of true optimization of software, zero glitching, pop-in, screen tearing, little to no load times, all leading to getting into your games quicker and experiencing true immersive, detailed interactive environments that would create a one-of-a-kind console experience. From what we know about the Project Scarlett, it does appear that it is being designed for performance to use the power that it has in ways that are completely unimaginable. By using techniques like virtual memory and creating custom architecture that is not even available in PCs at this moment, we could see even the issues that come along with ray tracing and dropping frame rates go away. David Prien explained that Project Scarlett is so important to him and the entire team that they were skipping XO19 because Project Scarlett is at a critical stage in its development. He also pointed out in the past during the creation of the Xbox One, the hardware team actually answered to the Microsoft Surface team. And to add on to that, the Surface team is much larger in scale and scope than the Project Scarlett team. This makes it to where each individual involved in Project Scarlett has their own individual task in its creation. And also that this time they answer directly to Phil Spencer and not the Surface team. In closing, these are my thoughts and opinions that I took away from being part of this interview and listening to it multiple times. But I also feel you should check it out yourselves. It's at the TXR Podcast YouTube channel, and I'll link it down below. As always, I would appreciate any thoughts and opinions that you have down in the comments. If you enjoyed today's content and all the content I put out, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. You can also always find me on Xbox Live and Twitter at Centurion1307. I must thank the TXR Podcast for allowing me to be part of this experience and being part of this awesome interview. Also, I must thank David Prien for showing up and giving us the honor of actually doing this interview. Thank you once again for tuning in, and always remember, positive change starts with you, so let's play united out there and game hard. Thanks for watching.